Welcome back. Now the fun begins. So we have our mold is complete. We've got our clear coat on here. It's dried for about 48 hours and very smooth and glassy like. And that's just what we're looking for. So our next step in our mold making process for our part is now we have to wax it. And the wax is a release wax for our mold, so when we lay up our laminate that it actually pulls out of here without any problems, hopefully. So for that we're going to use a product from TR. It is a mold release. This is TR 102. It's a regular temp and it's easy to apply and easy to take off. And what we're going to do is we're going to swirl this on, cover everything that we can, and then we'll let it flash off and cure for about, it'll probably take about an hour, maybe a little longer. It's a little cool out here today. And then we'll wipe it off, and for that I got some free microfiber cloth from Harbor Freight from my last purchase. That'll come in handy, and we'll just polish that off and then we'll repeat the process. And we're going to put about 8 to 10 layers of wax on here because I want to make sure that we've got a good release agent on here, so when we gel coat and fiberglass, our part's going to pull out. So with that, let's go ahead and get this thing waxed up, and while that's curing, then there's a good time to go ahead and prep for our glass. So we'll get all of our glass cut too, and I'll show you that when we get to that point. So our wax comes with a little pad, so we're just going to make sure we get that nice and waxed up. And then we're going to apply it. We're going to put it in little circles here, and we're going to cover everything. Get it into the surface. And when this dries, it kind of dries to a white, and then it should buff off real easy with a rag. So we're just going to go around and make sure we get a good coverage on everything here. Alright, so once this cures out, then I'll show you what it looks like when we go to take it off, what it looks like when it's dry, and then we'll just continue doing this. Like I said, we're going to put about 8 to 10 coats of wax on here because I want to make sure that nothing sticks to the surface when we get ready to gel coat and laminate. And then while our wax is curing, we'll go ahead and start getting our glass ready. So when this is all done, we can gel coat and start laying up our part. So we'll be right back. Alright, 1 hour later, we're ready to take off this wax, and then we'll apply another coat, and then we'll start cutting some glass. But everything seems to be drying just fine. So we're going to go ahead and take this one off. We'll put another coat on, and then we'll start cutting our glass. And hey, we're getting closer to laying it up. Alright, now since our wax is drying, and as we apply a coat and then we remove a coat and we apply a coat and we remove a coat, in between those coats is a good time to start prepping for our glass. So we want to pre-cut everything so when we gel coat and it comes time to resin, we can lay our glass in there and it's already cut, and we don't have to worry about trimming it once it's in there. So what I am using is a product from Bondo, and it's a fairly small piece. They're 38 by 31 inches, and the material is a chopped strand mat, and it is about an ounce maybe. If it's a 1.5 ounce mat, I'd be surprised, but it's about a 1 ounce, 1 1/4, somewhere right in there. And we lay that out on a flat table. We took the template that we cut out our mold with and set it on top. That gives us our shape. Then we'll go ahead and trim our glass around, and that way we'll have our pieces ready, so when we gel coat and we get ready to fiberglass, we can just take our pieces, put them in the molds, and let them overlap. We can wet it out, and hey, almost done. So let me show you what I'm going to do here, and then we'll get all this stuff trimmed out, set aside, and then we'll continue applying coat of wax and removing and applying and removing. I just want to make sure this thing doesn't stick when we get ready to lay it up. So let me give you a shot of what we're doing. So I've got a flat surface of which I laid my fiberglass on, and then I laid the piece that we cut out for the center of our mold on top, and I just kind of spaced it evenly on each side. And then next thing we're going to do is we're going to carefully rip this glass along this edge all the way around, and then that'll leave us this one large piece that will be for one side. And then we'll do it again 3 more times, because I have 4 packs of this fiberglass. And then we will probably cut the ends off here, so we've got our sides and our ends. So that's what we're going to do. We'll trim it, and hey, we'll get it all piled up. So all we're going to do at this point is we're going to take our glass, press down on our wood here, and just start pulling this up, and basically just kind of shredding the ends like this. And we'll do this all the way around. Till we get our pieces out like this, and then we have our center piece. We'll just do that all the way around. We'll do that with each package of glass that I have. We'll set those aside, and then we'll be ready for some gel coat here before too long. So now that we've applied about 6 or 7 coats, we have a few more coats to go, and probably just one more just because. So while the wax is drying, we cut our glass, we set our glass aside, and now we're going to get ready to gel coat. So for that, I purchased a product called white gel coat. That's the color of my trailer, and that's the color of the part that we're going to make. And this is a no wax gel coat. And we don't want the wax, because when we gel coat and it dries, we're going to laminate over top of it. The wax inside the gel coat, the purpose behind that is it's more for exterior. If you're going to paint over a project you're going to repair, the wax comes to the top, seals the surface, so the gel coat dries from below. We don't want the wax, because when the gel coat dries, we want to laminate over top of it. And if this contained wax, then we have a potential for some delamination later on, and we don't want the gel coat coming away from the fiberglass and chipping off down the road. So anyway, we have our gel coat. I purchased this off of Amazon for about 35 bucks. It does come with the MEKP hardener, the methyl level ketone peroxide, and there's 2 ways to apply the gel coat. One is by a brush. So you can mix up your gel coat, pour your gel coat in your mold, and then take your paintbrush and paint over the surface very gently and lightly, and cover all the surfaces and get the thickness that you need. And the other method that we're going to use is by a spray gun. I just happen to have this set up, so this is what I'm going to use. I've had this thing for 30 plus years. I've painted a lot of boats and a lot of cars, storage units, you name it, I've done it. So we're going to set up our gun to get ready to spray our gel coat. Now if you do spray gel coat, you don't want to thin it out, and gel coat is very thick. So what you need, and what I'll change this out, is a nice thick tip. It's got a nice size orifice in this. I don't know if you can see it, but this is about a 68, 6/8, so it's about a 6 millimeter opening, which is going to splatter that paint out pretty decent. So that's what we're going to use. I'll set up my gun, make sure it's clean and ready to spray. And so the next time that you see us is we are going to be gel coating our mold, and once that's cured, then we'll laminate our fiberglass inside, and once that dries, we will pull our part out and we will soon have a stone guard for our RV. So hope you stick around for that, and well, you're not too bored watching the video so far. So next time you're going to see us spraying the gel coat. Alright, so we're getting ready to start gel coating. I've got a mixing cup here, and I think I'm going to mix about 16, maybe 20 ounces, and then we'll get it catalyzed. I'm not going to go through the details of how much catalyst. There's plenty of YouTube on videos to teach you how to do that, but we'll go ahead and mix our paint, and once everything's set, then we'll go ahead and pour that into our container, close the gun, hook the air to it, and we'll start spraying our mold. And once that's dry, then we start laying it up. Gelcoat is on, looking pretty good. I could probably use another quart, but one quart covered everything. And once this is dry, then I'll mix up what little bit is left in the bottle and touch up a couple of corners on here. But yeah, turned out pretty good. Next, we start doing our glass work. Alright, so we have applied our gel coat, and it's looking pretty good, I think. A couple areas I might want to touch up a little bit later, make sure everything is fully covered, but that is about ready for some fiberglass. So now we are one step closer to being finished. So once this is totally cured, then we'll begin putting our fiberglass in, adding our resin, and rolling things out to complete our part, and then we'll be able to pop it out. So I think that's going to call it a wrap for this video, and next video we'll have everything fiberglassed, we'll get the part out, We'll trim everything, put our trim on it, and then maybe the last video we'll do an installation and show how it works. But we're almost done, and it doesn't really take that much time. Time goes by because we have to let things cure and set up and all that good stuff, but a couple of weekends, somebody working really diligent at it, you can have it done in 2 weekends. But piece of cake, and I'm happy with how it's turning out. So if you wouldn't mind, hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe, and check out my YouTube channel. Go to the community tab, and you'll see some of the up-and-coming projects or something that I'm working on, and we communicate a little bit better that way. But that's where we're at today. We got things painted, and it's looking pretty sharp. So, next video, fiberglass. Stay tuned.